10 o'clock. We're going to get started. Good morning, everyone. We will be recording today's session, and it will be emailed to you along with the slides. As soon as we complete processing, that will most likely be by tomorrow. So we're going to start recording now. Okay, so this is the first webinar in a three-part series intended to prepare you for the NorCal Procurement Expo on May 31st in San Ramon. Today, we're going to talk to you about preparing a capability statement or a statement of qualification. This is a useful and I'd even say a required tool for you to bring to the expo or really any opportunity where you're meeting government buyers and representatives. So before we get started, I'm just going to briefly talk about the free services that are available to you through the PTAC program. My name is Christina Kunkel. I'm the program director for the Northern California Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or PTAC for short. Today, we're thrilled to have our procurement specialist, Lenny Bean, presenting today. He has personally assisted with countless capability statements for clients, and he's a true expert on this topic. So the NorCal PTAC is a nonprofit program designed to help businesses successfully compete in the government marketplace. We're funded primarily by the Defense Logistics Agency, but have supplemental grant funding from other state and local funds, which means all of our services are provided at no cost to you. We are hosted by Humboldt State University Sponsored Programs Foundation up in Arcata, California. And last year, we helped our clients win more than $166 million in government contract awards. This is our service area. We're funded to provide assistance to businesses in the counties listed here on the map in green. My office is located in Arcata. That's the red star on the green map. But my team is located all over the Western US, including Los Angeles, San Francisco, Sacramento, even New Mexico. That's where Lenny Bean is today, and Washington State. I searched nationwide to find the best expert specialists to help you succeed. So all of our counseling is provided remotely over the phone or via video conference, so you do not need to leave your home or office to receive assistance. The map on the right is our DBE Supportive Services program. We can also connect you with this program to specifically assist those who are already certified as DBEs, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise, and help them win more contracts with transportation agencies. And through this program, we can also assist you in preparing a complete DBE application. If you're interested in that, let us know. And if you're joining us today from a place that's not shown on this map, there's 5 other PTACs in California. There's 94 total PTACs nationwide. We even have centers in Guam and Puerto Rico. And there's a link in a couple slides to find your nearest PTAC, or you can call us at the number on the bottom of the slides, and we will help you connect with your local PTAC. So we provide 3 core services, and again, all of these are free to clients. The first is one-on-one counseling, and our specialists can help you with getting a DUNS number, getting your SAM registration, minority, veteran, and other certifications, crafting capability statements like we're talking about today, anything related to government contracting. And we can also sit down with you individually and help you understand where your business fits in the government marketplace, how to market yourself. We also have a paid subscription for a really cool program that aggregates all federal, state, and local and school district purchases. So we can provide custom reports to our clients at no cost that help you determine who's already buying what you're selling and help you target your marketing. We also provide free in-person and virtual webinars like this one on government contracting topics. And these are always open to anyone. Visit our website for more free events. And finally, we can set those up within our service area with a free bid matching service with daily access to contractor opportunities that are specifically catered to you. And here's how to apply for our services. Just visit our website, click the Apply Now button, and we'll get in touch with you within 3 business days. And I also have the link here. This is where you can find your local PTAC if you're outside our service area, Or if you're just seeking general business assistance, like maybe getting access to loans, you can find your local Small Business Development Center here, or SBDC. Just one more note, today's presenter, Lenny, and me and my entire team will be at the Expo on May 31st in San Ramon, so please join us to talk to us in person. And with that, I am going to get started with Lenny Bean, Norcal PTAC Procurement Specialist. Take it away, Lenny.
Okay, and just a little addition, I will be out for the San Ramon event, and I am coming in a little bit earlier, so meeting with clients on the 30th, that's a Thursday, and so my afternoon is currently open, so just send me an email and we can get started and meet in person, always helpful. So today's objective is just going to understand the importance of statement of qualifications. It's widely used with government agencies. Kind of get an idea how to prepare a statement of qualifications. And
I think we lost the slides.
Okay. Let me see. Are we good now?
There we go, yep.
Okay, sorry about that. So we're going to go over the statement of qualifications, what it is, what the purpose of it is, how to prepare one, and how to deliver it. So you've probably heard the term line card or other type of references to sales information. I call it sales propaganda on your business. And this is widely used, particularly in the federal government, and they actually have, the federal government and various agencies will actually have training on how to prepare a statement of qualifications. It contains that information about your company, but it's organized in a certain way so that all of the government buyers have a way to assess and look at you, as well as look at competitors, et cetera, so that they can see, for example, what your product codes are, what it is you do in a certain format. And so it makes it easier for them. What you want to do is make it easy for them to understand what you do and why they should do business with you. Again, recognized in the federal government, it's now widely accepted in the state, county, city, and local governments because it's easy for them to review as well. And typically what you're going to have is this in a PDF format so that you can quickly email it, as well as maybe have copies available for like the event in San Ramon. And remember, it's not just one size fits all. You could have multiple SOQs depending on your audience or agency that you're trying to reach. So purpose, it's that initial contact. All federal agencies have small business specialists, and as a matter of fact, the state of California has lots of small business specialists. So those are the people you want to reach out with, and this is a great document for them to review. What I like about it too is once they have it, and so you may be talking to a small business specialist, but you want to really reach the people who are going to use your products or services. So it's easy for that small business specialist to mouse click it over and forward it on. Makes it easy for them for you to get to the next level of people that you want to talk to. So contracting officers use it, particularly the federal government, very widely. Government buyers, program managers, and other businesses. And if you're doing business or intend to do business with the federal government, this SOQ document gives you an easy way to go what is known as a dynamic small business search site that they go to and use, rather than replicate what you've done here, you can actually copy and paste it into that site. So it's used to, you want to respond to the sources sought. Sources sought is a term in federal contracting. And when there's a sources sought out there, like on Fed Biz Ops, what they're really trying to do here is look for a small business. And so this is a quick way of sending them your statement of qualifications. You may also want to contact the other interested vendors and let them know you're interested in perhaps teaming or making a connection. And so it's very easy then to send them your SOQ. You want to hand it out in industry days and networking events. When you go to San Ramon and you meet with various agencies, don't look at it as mailboxes. You're going to just drop one off at every table. You want to talk to them first. You get an understanding of what their needs are, and then hand them that piece of paper if it makes sense to do so. Because you don't want to just provide them a stack that they're just going to go through because there's just no connection of what their needs are versus what you do. And what you may want to do too is, rather than hand them the document, get their business card and then send it to them. Send them the PDF version via email. So preparing one. So what you want to do is have that first paragraph is going to capture their attention or not. So you want to describe what your core capability is. Do not talk about, well, we can build barns, we can raise horses, we can do software. Now, target that audience? What is your core capability? What really makes you then stand out from the competition? Because if you go in there and say, oh, we can do all of these things, you're not really delivering a good, solid message. Keep it simple, track to what you want to sell to that particular agency. And one of the things what you probably should do as well is, before you even send them an SOQ, find out what that agency does and what they're buying. Every federal agency is required to show their projections of what they intend to buy in the next fiscal year. And I believe the state of California on their site has similar information. So focus on your core capability. So stand out from the competition. As I mentioned before, there was that site, and we can send it to the Dynamic Small Business Search, where you can go in and see what your competitors are writing. What did they write for a capability statement? You can use the case method. Copy and steal everything. But look at what they wrote and how they formatted it, and then write yours to make sure you stand out from what they wrote. And the last sentence in that capability statement should describe what type of small business you are. Are you a veteran-owned? Do you have any certifications? Are you woman-owned? Are you in the 8A development program with the federal government? Are you in a hub zone? That is one thing all federal buyers are going to want to know immediately, so that they can look at setting aside procurements for those types of businesses. And just have that as the last sentence in your core capability, so they understand exactly what kind of small business you are. Bold the keywords. They read a lot of these standard qualifications. Very busy people. They're issuing contracts, reviewing RFPs. make it easy for them to quickly ascertain what your message is. One of the ways to do that is just to bold the key words so they get it right away. Now, motherhood and apple pie is what I call it. And, avoid those comments like, we're really great to deal with. We deliver everything on time. Well, everybody's going to say that. So avoid using those types of things. Keep it focused back to that core capability. What you want is to essentially translate how good you are based on your past performance. So your next step is government codes. Your DUNS number, your CAGE code, that shows that you're registered to do business with the federal government and shows them that you are prepared to bid on and receive contracts. Your NAICS codes, that stands for North American Industrial Classification System, and the product service codes are part of what the federal government uses. So it defines the business you are in. And again, don't use, use top 4 or 5 NAICS codes. Don't make a list of 10. You're just going to get lost, or they're going to get lost trying to ascertain, well, what kind of business you're in. That's why it's important. Go back to target those agencies and then change your statement of qualification to fit that target. So list that code and maybe a couple of bullets of what you do in those codes. So they have it actually helps the federal buyers put the right code in. There's a huge turnover of personnel in the government sector, in the procurement offices, and so you want to make sure that they understand what the business you're in and what you do in those codes, so that they can match up the right code to be able to do business with you. And the NIGP codes that's widely used in state governments and some of the local governments, and depending on the agency, you would probably find a city that uses an entire different set of codes because some software vendor came to them to run their procurement system, and they have their own coding system. Pay attention to the code you select to make sure they make sense for your business. Non-government certifications, they are important. You want to, whether or not it's software, so if you're a software supplier or coder, well, what kind of code have you been certified in? What kind of cybersecurity certifications do you have? You want to be able to put those out there, even if they're simple, like, we support Microsoft Office, just basic information so that they know your tool set that you deal with. Buildings, you want to, maybe there's and I know there's a more and more prevalent green building, and there's green building certifications. So if you are a builder and you have those green building certifications, make sure they show up. ISO 9000 for manufacturing. What is it you use? What is your quality system? And what are those certifications that you have for that quality system? It doesn't have to be, more than a few bullets, but make sure they understand that you've been in business for a while, you know how to do business, you have your quality system in place, and your certifications for what you do. If you have security clearances, put them in there. Most businesses may not, but if you're going to do business on, or you're bidding on, perhaps doing your business on a naval base, you may want to put in that you, even if you security clearance has elapsed, but you may want to put in there that you held a certain clearance for some period of time. It makes it easier for them to get you cleared, to get you the contract, to get you clear to work on the naval base. Key clients. Put in, it says here, put in the name of the client. When I mean name here is name of the business, not the name of the individual you do business with. And keep it simple. So it could be the city of Santa Fe, and a brief description of the project you worked on. And then only provide references upon request, because this statement of qualification will be shared. I would expect you to share it with other companies as well. When you go to this networking event in San Ramon, don't ignore all the other people in the room. Don't just focus on those government representatives. Meet 4 new people an hour, if you will. So provide references upon request, and get testimonials if you can for your statement of qualifications. One of the easiest ways to do it, and you have a company or a city or a county that would love to give you a testimonial, but make it easy for them. Write the testimonial for them, send it to them, request that they approve it for your statement of qualifications, and that makes it easy on them to say, yeah, okay, fine, that looks great, you can use my name. And make sure you get their permission to use it. So contact information. Who to contact? Is it the owner, the salesperson? Include the title of that person, who they're going to be speaking to. They're going to want to know if it's sales. They want to know if it's the owner themselves, or the CFO, or whatever. That is important to include the title of the person. The email address. I've seen lots of email addresses that go on forever. If you may want to create an email address that's just info mycompany@gmail.com. Make it very easy for them to put it into their system. Phone numbers. Pleasant greeting. If you don't like your voice, it doesn't sound good, get somebody else to do that for you. Make sure it's a pleasant greeting, no music. I just can't stand that when I call people and the music is playing. If you're using a cell phone, make sure it can accept messages, that it's not full. Establish a process to keep that open. This sounds, simple, but a lot of people just forget about it. So answer it within 24 hours, if at all possible, and state that up front that you'll get back to them within 24 hours. And then call your number. Do you like it? Does it make sense? Does it feel good if you call your number? It could be pretty scary when you call it, but give it a shot. Website. Include if you have one, and it should have the same message as your capability statement. Because you should be able to copy and paste right from your website into your statement of qualifications. It should all kind of flow. If it comes up with something very different, then antennas go up and they start wondering, well, what kind of company is this anyway? So, but just include if you have one, but if it's under construction, don't put it in there. Nothing worse than clicking on something and there's pretty much nothing there. So if you have one, great. Make it tie back to your capability statement. And if it's under construction, do not put it on your statement of qualifications. Biography. I like putting this on the back side. So it's a front and back, it's PDF, it's one sheet of paper. So businesses is only as good as the people that run them. So put in your key players or owners. You don't have to put the owner of the company. You can maybe put in one of your key players, one or two of them. What is that core expertise that ties back to what your company does? And just a one paragraph describing the experience that individual brings to your company. Why would you even hire them in the first place? So these are the people that we have on our staff, and it shows that you have the capability to run this business and perform the work under contract. Include pictures with the bio. Get your glamour shot and put it there. It just gives a little like FaceTime. People like to meet with people. Human beings like to see one another. I mean, look at Facebook, right? So include those pictures, and then put the bios though on the back side, because the front side you're really going to focus on the business, and the back side is here's who we have to make our business go. So graphics, and by the way, when you print out your statement of qualifications, use an opaque, kind of off-white background. There's nothing worse than trying to read black and white. The white is very hard on your eyes, and if you think of these buyers in the government and program managers, etc., they read a lot every day. A lot of it is from the computer screen, so make it easy on their eyes to read the document, make it easy to read. I like to use at least 12 font. Also, I have old eyes, and I don't really particularly care to read anything that's less than 12 font. Include your logo if you have one. If you don't have one, the name of your company should be, I guess, maybe 16 font and bold, or however you want to do it. Include pictures only if it supports the core business. And those pictures is worth 1,000 words, and then video is worth 10,000 words. But for pictures, supports that core business, and make sure you take a good look at the picture, particularly after you put it in the document. I had a construction company that put a picture in their statement of qualifications, and I was looking at it, and something just didn't make sense. Well, one of the workers on the construction site had running shoes on. Well, that immediately begs the question of, are they OSHA compliant, and is it a quality job site? So make sure you look at it and see if it makes sense. Video. Most, I would say, I can't think of any companies who couldn't put a YouTube video together. It's pretty simple to do. Include the URL so they can easily click on it. No more than 2 minutes. People don't have time to watch a movie while working. And shows your company in something they completed, some project you are proud of. I mean, the YouTube video could be simply several pictures, if you will, that you put into a video to show what your core business does, and actually, show the accomplishments that your business has done. So this makes it easier too for them, rather than to go to a website or anything else, but just to see a quick video of the types of things you've done. So here's a sample. I'm not going to go into any great detail on this one, but this is a capability statement. As you can see, it has all the point of contacts for the past performance, which in the federal world they like to see. And the only problem I have with this is the font is pretty small if they really wanted to dig into this. But the core information is there. It talks about it being a small, disadvantaged, veteran-owned business. And the capability is straightforward, one sentence. Local experienced electrical firm offering a broad range of services and capabilities, including boom, 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 boom. Just a simple list of what you do. It's then very easy for that buyer or that project manager to understand what you do. And all of the past performance here shows that you know what you can do, and there's pictures of each one of those to show the breadth of what you're capable of doing. So that is one. Before we get to questions, let me see if I can pull up the so this particular capability statement was put together by the Norcal PTAC, and it's a template. You can actually fill in the blanks. We're going to send this to you after the our webinar, but it gives you a template to start with. So I would encourage you to use it, fill it out, and then send it to us. Be happy to review it and get out our red crayon and make some suggestions on what you can do to improve it. So there's Christina and Taylor. And what they do. So here are the bios. You can see the pictures. Very straightforward. This is what my background is, and here's here are the people that are responsible for running this business. At the end here, again, when you take a crack at it, put your capability statement together, and be happy to review it. So on that, went kind of quickly here today, but definitely could open it up for questions.
And thanks, Lenny. I just wanted to note that anyone can unmute themselves. We've muted everybody before this session, but feel free to unmute yourself to ask a question. There's also a chat that you can enter questions in, and we'll hang out and see if you have any questions. So while we wait, just a note that you'll be receiving an email shortly from Eventbrite that will give you a link to a very brief survey. You can tell us how we did today and give us some feedback. So we'd love to hear your feedback on that evaluation form. Lenny, it looks like we have a question in the chat.
Okay.
For a startup business, is it okay to not have the contract/testament history?
The answer is yes. What you want is to put your breadth of experience, education, etc. To if you're just starting out of the block, use your background and you might even use job references that you use as testimonials as well, depending on what type of business it is. And because there's a ton of startup companies now, particularly in technology, and the government is doing a lot of outreach to find those companies. And so what they're looking for is pretty much in your case would be your resume and how you're going to run your business.
We had a very similar question. Edie, you asked, what if we don't have a lot of experience because we're just starting out? Is it worth doing this? And I think Lenny just answered that question, but let us know if you have anything else.
Yeah, I mean, just definitely use your own past experience. Even if you're starting out, there's a reason you're starting this business. Give some background information. And you do want to be able to show that you do understand how to do business with the government, because you put together the SOQ and you have something to start with, even though it's a startup.
And just, I'm going to skip ahead because a couple people asked, will we receive the slides? Are you going to send us the recording? And the answer is yes. You will receive the recording and the slides. We'll definitely get them to you by tomorrow latest. It takes some time to process the recording. Okay, is it important to state if we do business with overseas government?
If you're going to use that as your past performance, I would say the answer is yes. And if you're going after a specific agency, it could be the Department of Defense, they may be very interested in what you did overseas. So I would encourage you to put that in there, again, depending on your audience and what agency you're interested in.
Someone asked what a cage number is. Can you explain that?
Okay, so a cage number is once you've registered with the federal government in a system called SAM, System for Award Management. So it's a registration to do business with the federal government. And then they issue you what is known as a cage code, and it's issued by the General Services Administration and the Defense Logistics Agency, and it defines your business and your business's location in the database. You will find various places in the federal government, like the Defense Logistics Agency, where you can go in and see what contracts have been awarded for a particular part. Well, next to that part is the quantity, the timing, and the cage code of the company that provided and won that contract. So your cage code is used fairly widely in the federal government sector. And by having it on the statement of qualifications, it shows that you are completely registered to do business with the federal government.
And the same person just noted that they have a SAM number. And Rebecca, that's most likely the same thing. If you're registered in SAM, the only number they give you is a cage code. So someone said, I noticed some codes for the capability statement like hub zone numbers. So they're asking about certification numbers. Where would we find those codes?
Okay, so certifications, let's talk about hub zone. So that's a federal business certification. It stands for Historically Underutilized Business Geographic Area. It's where the federal government has not spent a lot of money in a particular geographic region. Could be anywhere. And so to qualify for a hub zone certification, your business has to reside in a hub zone, and at least 35% of your employees, including yourself, have to reside in the hub zone. It doesn't have to be the same hub zone. There's a process for that application, and we can help you do that. To quickly see if you qualify, you can go to sba.gov and look up hub zone map, and you can put in your address to see if you reside in that hub zone. So by saying on your statement of qualifications that you're a hub zone certified company, that is a cue to the federal buyer that they could set aside that procurement for hub zone companies only. So in fact, hub zones are really important right now because that's the one area where the federal government has not met its goals by up to 50%. I hope that answers your question.
And just to add, they were asking where would we find those codes too. So once you're certified, you will be given a certification ID number for most certifications.
Right, so you will be given a certification and the government will put it into your SAM registration. So you don't put it in there, they do. There isn't a hub zone number per se, it's just, you know, your hub zone certified as of October 31st, 2019.
So in that instance, you would just say hub zone certified and you wouldn't need a number, right, Lenny?
Correct, correct.
Okay, someone asked, how important is video? Does anyone bother to review that?
I do. I think if it's easy to get to, and that's why I was suggesting like a quick YouTube video, if it's easy to get to, or they can click on your website, and you're going to demonstrate something. So let's say, I don't know, motivational speaker, you're a leadership coach, you do training, you provide training for the judicial system, what have you, to have you shown in a short video of you in action is I think is pretty important. It gives a much better idea of whether or not, you know, that gain that interest. So a lot of it some of it has to do with what your business is. And if let's say you're in plumbing, you have a plumbing business, and you may want just a short video of an area that was very complex that you performed the work on. And just do a video of that and have somebody, whether it's yourself or an employee, point out some of the features of what you did. I think it's good. I do like to see some of the videos.
Great, next question. I am a micro business owner and a disabled veteran who owns an apparel business. I've been in business for 1 year. How can I obtain a government contract?
Okay, so if you are a veteran, the first thing we're going to do is get you certified with the Veterans Administration as a veteran-owned business. That would be very important to get done. And then also, and so there's a process for going through that. But first we would start, if you're interested in federal government, we would start by getting you registered, get you a DUNS number, get you registered in SAM, and then work with you to get your service disabled certification. That particular certification is required if you're going to do business like with the Veterans Administration. And so I assume when you talk about apparel, perhaps there's apparel that you would manufacture or sell that would be of interest to the military.
And just to add on to that, for anyone who's asking, how can I obtain a government contract? How can I get started in the government marketplace? Really, that's what we're here for, and our services are free. So you can just sign up on our website at norcalptac.org, or if you're somewhere else, there's a PTAC everywhere, all over the nation. So someone asked that they wanted more information on getting the right code for their business, which is acupuncture. And their accountant advised to use a certain code. So that's a specific question that I would suggest you sign up with an advisor, and we can look through all of the different NAICS codes and UNSPSC codes to help you. Is SBA certification absolutely necessary for a minority business, or can you just state that on the SOQ?
you can state that on the SOQ, because when you register in SAM, you're going to check that box. And so it's going to show up in your SAM registration that you're a minority-owned business, and based on your NAICS codes that you are small. And once you've registered in SAM, yes, absolutely put it on your statement of qualifications. They want to know that.
And just to clarify, Lenny, is that the SDB certification, small disadvantaged business?
Okay, so there's no, this is a misnomer. So there are small businesses, and then there are, when you register in SAM, based on your NAICS code, you're going to be a small business. And, and so they'll set aside procurements for a small business, or they'll break it down into veteran-owned, woman-owned, the 8A Minority Development Program, or the Hub Zone Program, depending on the responses they get. So those are the certifications. There is no, in the federal government, small and disadvantaged business certification per se. It's broken down in those compartments, if you will.
Okay, so the next question, and just to add, we have a webinar on Thursday. Our next preparatory workshop in this series is on certifications. So I suggest bringing all your certification questions to that webinar. Someone said, I am about 3 months out from being ready to start. Would you suggest attending a networking event for the experience?
Absolutely. I mean, the more people you meet every single day, the better it is. And then, like I said earlier, you have all the buyers there and all the representatives from the government agencies, but in addition, you have this room full of 100 or so businesses that you can also meet as well and find out how they're doing. Maybe they have some experience to share. Maybe they're interested in a partner, teaming, etc. Get their information, get their SOQ, see what they wrote, exchange yours if you have one. But definitely attend. It'll give you a good feel as well as to what's going on in the government community as far as contract opportunities.
All right, the next question is, what are NGIP codes? And I just want to add something to start. So Lenny can talk about what they are in different states and localities, but I think something that we didn't mention today is the UN SPSC codes, which are with the state of California. The state of California has their own system that they use, and you'll hear all these different acronyms like NAICS, UN SPSC, NGIP. They're all just industry codes, different systems for telling the government what it is you do. Lenny, you want to add on to that?
No, I think you described it perfectly. For example, the NIGP codes, it's actually this entire association that they have, and it's a procurement association, and they've developed this coding system that's fairly widely used. For example, there's a variety of group of states that use it, and counties and cities use that NIGP code. State of California, like you said, use the UNSPC codes. And then there's other places that use their own codes because they have this software system that someone sold them that has their own coding process. The thing to be cognizant of is whatever agency you're dealing with and the coding system they use, make sure you read those codes closely for two reasons. One, you want to be notified by email if there is a request for proposal or request for a quote coming out in those NAICS codes and in those codes. So you want them to send you that email so you know about the opportunity. And the second thing is you want them to know exactly what businesses you are in. Pretty important to select the right codes. And if you have questions on that or need some assistance, give us a call.
All right, next question. Someone asked, is there a specific time of year when agencies put out their RFPs?
I would say more or less it's ongoing, and obviously it has a lot to do with funding. So as an example, in August and September, the federal government spends a lot of money because they haven't issued the contracts and the year ends at the end of September. Their fiscal year is October 1st to September 30th. So they need to obligate those funds by the end of the year or they lose them. Then they have to go back and get them again. So there's a lot of opportunities in that August-September window for a lot of smaller contracts, I would call them, and opportunities then to get some contract awards during that time period. The other thing to watch is, so October 1st comes, or it could be July 1st for state. Look for those dates when they start, and also look for if you are in a particular business and they have, say, multi-year contracts that are expiring for what you do. What you want to know is when they're going to expire, and then you're going to back that off maybe to 6 months earlier of where they're going to put it out to bid. So that's your window to get in there. So depending on what you do, we want to look for those, I call them multi-year price agreements. There's a whole variety of names for them. There's the IDIQ process that's used in the federal government, and it's a multi-year, but after 5 years, they end and they have to be, again, then recompeted again. So pay attention to when some of those contracts expire as well.
And it might be different, it is different for different agencies too. So for example, if you want to do business with the Forest Service, they have a ton of opportunities that come out in January, February, when they're trying to plan for the next fire season. Just one example. And the state government is going to have a different fiscal year than the federal government. The county and city governments, who knows what fiscal year they're on. So typically governments are spending more money at the end of their fiscal year. And different agencies might have different times of year that they have something important going on. Next question, if you have a video walkthrough on your website, is it necessary to make the YouTube video?
No, it isn't if you just want to give it one click. But if you don't have your website up, doesn't have a video, I guess your website is not worthy yet, you may want to do a short video, YouTube video for them to click on. But no, if you have a good video on your website, you can refer them to the video there. Or put the link on the SOQ that takes them right to the video, perhaps.
The next question is asking, does a PO box qualify as a hub zone business location? And I'm just going to answer that and move on. It does not, and there's a lot of complex issues around the hub zone business. It's not just where your business is located, it's also where a certain percentage of your employees are located. And we're going to talk about that more on Thursday. Next question is, I operate as an independent contractor / sales rep for a larger company. Is that an acceptable situation for qualifying? I don't know what they mean. Qualifying for what? Does that make sense to you, Lenny?
No, I'm not sure what they're qualifying for. If they're independent, then I assume they have their own business, and therefore that if it's their own business, for example, if it's you're independent contractor, then yeah, then you could go through and qualify for some of these certifications if you're eligible.
So Edie, who asked that question, if you if we didn't answer your question, feel free to add something, and we'll get it at the end. I got a couple more questions about will you send the slides, and the answer is yes. We will send out a copy of the slides and a recording of the slides, and that will get to you by tomorrow. Should we include LinkedIn and other social media?
That's an interesting question. LinkedIn, I don't think it really helps you at all. It just take up space. If you have a Facebook site, I would put it in there. We actually get things from the Defense Logistics Agency that funds our program with Facebook seminars, webinars, et cetera, announcements. So the federal government does have Facebook in their agencies, and they also have Twitter. However, I'm not sure you would want to send out tweets to those organizations. I don't see that used a lot, but I'm seeing more acceptance of Facebook.
And just to clarify, I just want to make sure that people realize you should share your business Facebook page, not your personal Facebook page. People don't want to see that.
Correct. or they may want to see it.
Maybe. Someone asked, is the FedBiz, I think they mean FedBizOps website, the only link to access federal contracts?
No, it's not no, because they only do it for a certain, I forgot the dollar amount, but it's only over a certain dollar amount.
$25,000, $25,000 or more.
Yeah, something like that. And so you won't find some of the smaller opportunities on FedBizOps. So there are other sites that it gets pulled from. And if you are a client of ours, we'll set you up on our bid match system. Again, there's no cost to you. And it will search for all of the opportunities, if you will, in the federal government, FedBizOps, as well as several others, like there's the DIBS system, which is for the Defense Logistics Agency. So we try to pull in all of those into our bid match.
Someone has another hub zone question. Our business is located in a hub zone, but not our employees. What can we do?
Tell your employees to move. Yeah, this happens a lot. So, and they don't have to reside in the same hub zone. I mean, for example, all Native American land is hub zone automatic. And so we'll have a lot of companies that will be located in the hub zone off the reservation, but a lot of their employees are on the reservation. But if all of your employees, if you don't meet that 35% criteria, you don't qualify for that hub zone certification.
So just to repeat that, not all of your employees need to live in a hub zone. It's 35%, and
Correct.
We'll talk about the hub zone certification more on our webinar on Thursday. Okay. Thank you for explaining types of contracts. Can you please mention them again?
Okay. So types of contracts. So when you could be responding to a request for quote, which usually lowest qualified vendor, lowest cost qualified vendor gets the bid. That typically would be a fair and fixed price contract. In the request for proposals, it's more dynamic because there's a performance work statement or a statement of qualifications that you are bidding on, and that there's typically a negotiation before a contract award is made because you're usually developing something. And so in that case, you could end up with a firm fixed price contract or a cost plus contract where you would get reimbursed for your cost plus an applicable fee arrangement if you perform. So in the multi-year contracts, So there's an independent delivery, independent quantity, IDIQ process, for example, that several agencies in the federal government use. And they're also called multiple award contracts, where, for example, the state of California in a particular county wants to have, be able to reach out and to several plumbing companies. And so they'll have a multiple award contract where they'll have multiple companies on the contract for, say, 5 years. And then when they have a specific requirement, they'll go out to those 5 companies to get their bids. And so there's that process as well. Yeah, types of contracts and how it all works is fairly complex. If you see something that you're interested in bidding on, you don't understand, please give us a call so you understand what they're asking for before you move forward.
And Edie corrected her question. She was asking about if she qualifies as an independent contractor or sales rep for a larger company. She says, by qualifying, I mean for certifications. I do not own the service provider company.
So she owns her own company, I'm assuming.
But she doesn't own the service provider company. She's just a contractor for that
right.
company.
So as a contractor, she's probably a sole proprietor, or maybe she has an LLC. And in that case, even as a sole proprietor, you can qualify for like the Women-Owned Small Business certification.
You can qualify for your business, but it's based on the owner of the business. The owner of the business needs to be 51% or more woman or minority or whatever. Correct. Owned. So the company that she works for would need to apply for their own certifications. I think that's what she's asking. I'm sorry, Edie. I think we answered your question, but let us know if we. Oh, she said yes. You've got it. Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay. Someone asked, where do we sign up on Facebook? So we actually do have a Facebook page, facebook.com/Norcal PTAC. You could go there to follow us, but I think you might be asking, how do you sign up to be a client? Someone else asked that too. And that's just all on our website, norcalptac.org. Click on the big button that says apply now. And actually just moments ago, a minute or two ago, you should have received an email asking you to complete a survey on our webinar today. And in that email are also instructions on how to apply to be a client. I think the final question here is someone said, are there hub zone area maps? And I'll just answer that quickly. Yes, you can just Google hub zone map. And I think it's the first one that comes up, and click on that and enter your address. It's pretty user friendly. And you can look at all the maps around your address. So, all right. Any last questions? I think we got them all. All right. Well, like I said, we are going to send you the webinar recording and slides, and we'll do that by tomorrow latest after we finish processing. Thank you so much, Lenny, for your assistance today. Again, all of us are going to be at the webinar on May 31st. And if you visit our website, norcalptac.org/calendar, you'll see all of our upcoming workshops and webinars that we have in preparation for the expo. We have the expo itself, and we'll have upcoming workshops and webinars there too. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll hopefully see you at the expo.
Okay, thank you, everyone.